everybody, and welcome back to OMSI 2, the bus simulator, with me and more bus videos. I'm also known as and more central, depending on what day of the week and what video you're watching. And welcome to the Westcountry version 3.03 at Paignton, where today we've got P055PYL in front of us, which is Transdev's 2764 in a livery that I've been following, being made for some time by the incredibly talented Amethyst Studios, one of the studios that one of the absolutely talented creators that creates a lot of Yorkshire-based repaints, predominantly for Transdev, but also does a few other operators, like some for First occasionally as well. Amethyst Studios has come out with their first repaint for the Blueprint Productions B7TL Gemini in the form of the Pride of the North livery. That was the livery for the different companies that Transdev runs, so like Blackburn Bus Company being blue, Burnley Bus Company being orange, Harrogate Bus Company being red. The Pride of the North livery was the livery painted on a certain amount of vehicles that were the spare vehicles that could travel across the network, do different corridors, do different key branded routes, and they were the spare buses. 2763, that's the sister vehicle, and this one, 2764, were both iconic vehicles in the Pride of the North livery. I've been on both of them numerous times. Very, very exciting buses, and now, thanks to the amazing Blueprint Production B7TL, we are getting to drive it. Now, as I did mention before, I do pre-record these videos at the moment, just purely for admin purposes. So they're recorded sort of like a week or two before they release, purely to make life easy. And since I did the last batch of recordings, well, we say to make life easy, and I do also mean, it actually means that videos get released on time and there is consistency. That is the biggie. But it does make life a lot easier on that front. Since then, and the last videos, and the last time we drove the B7TL, because we drove the B9 in the previous video, Blueprint Productions have released an updated sort of update, how exciting, for the B7 and B9 pack. It mainly focuses around the B7. It updates the B7 sounds, as you can hear. It updates the sounds on the B7. That was the biggie thing that everybody was like, oh, I'm a bit unsure about the sounds, I'm not a fan of the sounds. So the sounds have now been updated, so it should sound a lot better. I'm very excited about that. A few other bits have been done to optimise the vehicles, so we should have a smoother drive with more frames. And as I say, a few other minor bits and bobs here and there have been updated. So again, Blueprint Productions, if you bought the vehicle already for $16.99, you are entitled to the update. They did email out about the update. So again, really good communications, really easy to update the vehicle, and now I've got it all sorted. So in this video, we are, I think, we're only a minute late. We are going to be driving the 35 route. So we're going to be doing the iconic 35 from here to Totnes. Now, it was initially going to be the 100 circular, but I thought, no, we've got the Pride of the North bus. I've been on this on long routes and sort of fast corridors, so let's see how realistic virtual 2764 is. Unfortunately, limitations with the repaint and the bus design mean that there isn't any headrests on this. In real life, this one does have headrests, but the maquette design has been captured because this had the older interior, the 2764 and 63. So they didn't update them, but they were incredibly comfy. Upstairs, they do actually have their own bespoke seats up here, sort of proper high back seating. But again, that can't be replicated. So the seats have still been done in the best way possible. Got the lovely Pride of the North branding there, Pride of the North branding here, and as I say, all really looks the part. So we'll get away and move around. This vehicle does have the updated dashboard, as it does in real life. And I am already so far really liking that sound of that ZF. That ZF is sounding very, very nice. So we'll get everybody on. I need to move that out of the way. because I've got my diary right next to me, and that's not practical in order to drive the vehicle. So the journey time on this is scheduled to take us about 35 minutes. But we are driving a very quick vehicle, so we're going to sneak across here because we can, and it makes life easier for then turning into that road. So the 35 doesn't go into the hospital, it goes direct out of town. Arguably, it would probably have been good to send this into the hospital, but then again, there's not enough stands for it and all the other bits and bobs, so it's kind of understandable that it doesn't go in. The branding on this is amazing. As I say, if you look at photos of this in real life, it will look pretty identical to what you get. You get the branding like the Red Express, Coastline, Blackburn Bus Company 36, the Bronte bus. I was looking for... There we go, we do have Cityzap. Excellent. The brand that no longer exists, Cityzap. That was what I went on this... I think this one and 2763. I think I went on the Cityzap because I'm sure they both ended up doing it. I know 64 spent more time in West Yorkshire than 63 did. 63 didn't spend as much time in Yorkshire as 64 did. 64 spent significantly more time there. But I'm pretty certain both 63 and 64 both did the Cityzap. We are talking around the era when the Unibus 44 had just finished and they were running the 44 between City and Acomb that then got replaced by the Connections Bus 16. So we are talking that era of Transdev in York, not the more modern MMC era, referring to when the B7TLs, YC53s with the sort of communal area is the best. I was going to say sofa seats. I was like, they are not comfortable enough to call them sofa seats. The communal area was on the Cityzap B7 deckers. It was such a shame to watch the decline of that route and then to see what the alternative was. Now, that route did do very well. It was just arguably the purchase of vehicles at the wrong time for the Cityzap that was, I think, what was such a shame. If the vehicles had been, like, the order had been cancelled and they just transferred some of the B90 Gemini 2s that were being displaced by which way, the service would probably still exist between Leeds and York. There's no discussion of the Cityzap between Manchester and Leeds today. There's no discussion of that. That discussion could go on for hours. The joys of driving this route long enough to know what is quicker to do. It's been a while since I've done this route, but I am still in the attitude of doing the same thing. The irony is today is I'm actually going out about an hour after I filmed this particular video to drive a bus, an actual real bus. I'm doing covering a night shift piece today. So I'm doing this, having a rest, and then heading out. Because I just saw the Pride of the North livery being released and I thought, yeah, I fancy a drive of that. Alright, oh yes, I do like the sound of this now. I do feel like I'm driving 2764. That I do feel like I am at the helm of 2764. The sounding is pretty on point now. And it does actually sound like this particular vehicle sounds. The only thing it is missing, as many of you will know, having been on B7s, is B7 clag. It is missing B7 clag, and there is no black smoke. There is someone wanting the bus. I genuinely could not tell then. I could not tell. It was a good job I followed my instinct. Do you mean complained about my delay? Oh, I'm 6 minutes late. Oh. Oh, it's because it's not registering that I left a certain stop. Okay. When we pull over at the next one, I'll reset my timetable, I think. I'm not having a moaning all the way, even though I'm on time at their particular stop. Oh, let's find which run is it. There we go, 1140, Totnes Road. I am just, there we go, Paignton Royal Hospital. And I'm apparently about 7 minutes early, according to that. Don't know how that's happened. I mean, I followed the correct route out of town. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I understand. It's because this route you start from the other side, don't you? So you start from the other side. You don't start at Memorial. That's why, because I've started in the wrong place. Although, to be fair, it doesn't make any difference anyway, because you just go up the road to then come back down again. That just means we are a couple of minutes early. So no, that's what the error is, and you'll always screaming at your screens, going, yeah, and more, whatever, and more. Yes, you've started in the wrong place. But yes, I understand now. I have, because it has been a while since I've done this route. I've started at Memorial instead of Totnes Road, and then gone up to Memorial Crescent to then come back down again. I don't know why it does that. It's never made any sense to me. But as I say, won't have made any difference because we still, anybody who was on that side of the road would have crossed over anyway. And you probably shouldn't have picked anybody up, really, on that side of the road to go back in to come out again. So that means it's only 20 minutes. Okay. It definitely, this route has been shortened in time. I'm sure it used to be like 45 minutes. This sounds very, very nice now. Yeah, this does sound significantly better. We have not got any B10 sounds anymore. That, as I say, is the biggest improvement. The biggest improvement that we're dealing with. There we go. Let's see how good this bus is on an open road. Because we've tested it on the 122 with the hills. We've tested it on Bodenham, and now see how good it is in the Westcountry. It does seem to pull very well, and it sounds incredibly spectacular. Let's see if we can get a nice screenshot around there. This looks like a screenshot-worthy location. Oh, I don't know. This is the issue with these cameras, is the cameras are in the wrong direction. So if the cameras were facing towards the bus, you sort of have a little bit of an idea as to where you are in relation to them. But because they're not, it makes life a lot more difficult than it should be. I do think this is going to need to be within full light to actually justify the livery. Now, where's the sunlight's behind us? That is incredibly good. That's exactly what we want, the sunlight to be behind us for the entire river. So, oh dear. How are we doing for time? Let's have a look. We are bang on time, that'll do. I purposefully changed the time at the hospital so that we were a minute after we should have left, because I knew I would catch up my time quite easily. So I made the conscious decision. As you may notice, I do that quite a lot when I'm in this. So oh, we might be in luck with the sun. I think like we may have. I mean, this is probably as close as we are going to get to the sun being in the correct. Yeah, it's still wrong. It's still too far over. So it might be a photo shoot after video then, I think, for the thumbnail. So as you can see, it's still, the lighting from this angle still gives the livery justice. And that's why drivers do that in real life. If you ever, you don't get as many nowadays, but if you do ever get a driver that does open their doors at the junction, it tends to be because the door pillars are in the way. As you can see then, the door pillars were a massive blind spot to the road. So I thought, let's open the doors, just so I don't go into a car while I'm filming a video. We've done that too many times. There we go. It sounds so nice, does this now? So nice. Is the crash car still here? Oh, no, I don't think it is. There used to be a crash car there. I mean, that might have been a previous update. That they got rid of it. I could not tell you. I have no idea. But there definitely used to be one. couple of minutes early, although to be fair, I did absolutely launch it up that hill. So that, oh, the sun's in the right spot. I don't know how, but the sun's in the right spot. That'll do. Let's see if we can get a nice... I mean, we've now got a car behind us, so it's probably not going to be the most absolutely mind-blowingly nice shot ever in the world. But oh, that does look nice. Minus the car driving right through us. And then I'll see, let's try and get one from this angle, I think. I mean, again, we've still got the parked car in the way, but it does really look the part in the sun. This is what I mean by it just looking just nice. And talk about a lovely village to get the screenshots in. Berry Pommer is probably the nicest one on this route. I'm going to put those back on and I'm going to move the time up so that we continue to be on time. Is the lighting still in the right position? Yeah, it is, yeah. See if we can get another one. Ended up in the wilderness then. Yeah, that stuff looks quite nice. Let's get a couple of different ones. I always do that when where I will unpause it before I put the camera back. So I will then launch the bus in whatever direction it wishes to go into. So I think we're now making our way into Totnes. So again, definitely not as long as this route used to be. Definitely being shortened down. Although I think as well you spend a lot more time in painting than you. Although I say that, we used to spend a fair wad of time in painting anyway, because you used to come all the way out of the bus station, past the railway station, down the windy road, then up the main road past the depot, through in and out of the zoo, and then you're out. So I do think the route has definitely been shortened. Definitely been shortened. I don't mind it. It's a nice sort of shuttle run now, but I did used to enjoy the length in it. And again, my apologies for anybody who really wanted to see the Totnes Road to Memorial Crescent section. I mean, we covered it the other way, as the route does, but just, even though I saw it when I booked on it said Totnes Road, I just didn't click on that I was supposed to start there instead of Memorial Crescent. I just automatically went straight to Memorial Crescent. It's such a nice livery. Such a nice livery. And it was quite, at the time, when the vehicles were being painted, like this one, for example, it was very interesting to see that they were sprucing up some of the older vehicles on fleet, rather than just choosing all the new things. It was a spruce up of older vehicles. So that was always the difference with Transdev to other operators, is it was a lot more investment into older vehicles, arguably sometimes not financially worth it in the slightest. That's why the operator in more recent times had some financial implications. But it was seeing how a bus company is run when just marketing's involved, when not the practicality of engineering is involved, the just running the services and not really giving to what the buses are liveried in. It was actually seeing how a company would be run if everything else was shoved out the window, sometimes even services running over liveries, and just seeing what can be done and what can be designed with buses, and how the liveries can be done and how the marketing can be done. Don't get me wrong, it did mean that some areas the bus service was shocking, and there are arguably some places now, as with every area, that don't have a bus service because Transdev, again, like some other operators, have invested in marketing that much that they then ran out of money to operate some services, some of which were incredibly busy routes, purely because they were too busy spending all the money on the marketing. So again, some other operators, all over the place, operators have fallen down the same hole. It's not a uncommon thing. To fall sort of down that rabbit hole and have those problems. But it was an interesting, noteworthy point when it was done. Very, very interesting, noteworthy point. That did feel cool, going round that corner straight into the bus lane without having to actually properly check the mirrors, because I just got in, and that was very nice. Very satisfying, threading the needle like that. Very, very satisfying. This bus lane always confuses me. Always, always. Like, why? Why is it structured like this? I just don't understand. It's just the weirdest layout I've come across, where we go all this distance, and it's like when you're sat here, especially when cars are coming down the main road, you're just like, can I just indicate in? Can I just indicate into the main road and just keep going? Let's not shut the door on someone. There we go. Just misclick of buttons there. And, oh, there's a person there. Why am I closing the door? I don't know why the van went straight into the bus then. But it did. It decided to try and drive. I think in the mirror it might have just missed it, but it attempted to go into the rear of the bus. Joys of joys. Probably could have taken it ever so slightly wider, but even then I think the van would have still tried to take a chunk out of the bus. Yeah, you can feel the optimisation on this. Significant optimisation. It's just a lot smoother going through here now. Lot smoother. And something else I must say about this and the B9, both of them, the steering locks on them are amazing. Again, I did sort of touch on this when I first drove the B9 with the comparison with the B8Rs of others that I've driven, and I did sort of point that sort of similarity out. But again, the steering on these is absolutely impeccable, arguably better than some B7s I've driven in real life. I was actually, again, I'm recording this the day after I drove a B7, and the B7 I drove, the steering lock was amazing, but I have known some B7s where it's not that good, and again, having literally driven, I arguably have driven it was an ALX 400, so it wasn't a Gemini. Otherwise, I'd have sort of been going on about that this video. So I've not put too much of a comparison in. But I drove B7 ALX 400 yesterday. I was doing some rail-related work, so I ended up having a little jolly in that. And the steering lock on that was lovely. It's just like driving this. That does have an older dashboard, so again, that was why I chose this livery, because I was like, older dashboard, it's not like what I've just driven in real life. It's actually something different, because coming onto here and driving something I've literally driven in real life the day before is a no-no, definite no-no. But it was, oh well, I can see where the sunlight is. So. There we go. So it was a definite no to drive a vehicle that I've driven in real life the day before, but I have driven an ALX 400 B7 yesterday, so it's not really this start type, but the steering on that was just as nice. So again, when you're thinking of this vehicle, if you haven't already got it, you can take on board hopefully what I've said with the positivity of how realistic it is compared to what I've driven, and go, well, it is actually worth it. It is actually worth all your pennies and your monies. But anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been lovely to have a little drive of the Amethyst Studios lovely Transdev Pride of the North 27, 63 and 64 repaint pack. Amethyst Studios has said that they will be bringing out more repaints, so we can look forward to the moves, we can look forward to some B9 repaints as well. So lots of exciting bits to look forward to in the future. So as I say, keep an eye on Amethyst Studios for updates and new releases. Hopefully we might get an Airline 60 repaint as well. That would be quite nice before the airline's taken over by the B5TLs. But anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have done, do be sure to click that like button so that more people can find the video and enjoy it just like you have. And do make sure you subscribe and support the And More Bus Videos YouTube channel. For more content like this from the OMSI 2 Bus Simulator World, I release videos on OMSI 2 twice a week, on here on a Thursday and a Sunday. There's also an archive of backseat bus videos, so there's lots of exciting bits to look forward to. And if you want videos 7 days a week between both channels, you can go and check out my main channel and More Central for content from the real life bus world, as well as my very exciting Day in the Life of Bus Driver series, where you get to see me drive actual real buses. So once again, with all that in mind, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one I make. Bye for now. Bye.